Alright, let's clear something up. The South Korean classic from 2003, Old Boy, and the Tamil blockbuster from earlier this year, Maharaja, are not the same movie. Yet they are both cut from the same cloth. In the case of Old Boy, it was a manga written by Karan Tsuchiya and Nobaki Minigishi. In case of Maharaja, it was
Old Boy. It's one of my favorite movies.
Fortunately for us, the mastery of 2003 hit feature enamored writer-director Nithin Swaminathan enough that he thought it was a good idea to understand symbols and structure from that film and craft a completely different story.
제가 처음부터 계속 한 얘기가 뭐였냐면은 왜냐면 내가 그런 영화를 좋아하니까 이렇게 뒤로 이렇게 제껴서 그냥 흘러가는 거를 멍하게 보고 있는 그런 영화는 별로 나는 무슨 재미를 보는지 모르겠어요. 그렇게 편안한 휴식이 필요하면 찜질방을 가지 왜 극장을 가야만은 알 수가 없어요. 어쨌든
2003 was a watershed year for South Korean filmmaking. Bong Joon-ho had just landed his first hit with Memories of Murder. Kim Ji-woon's A Tale of Two Sisters was the first South Korean film that released in United States. But even more significant was a darkly comedic and creatively shot revenge thriller by Park Chan-wook that combined Hitchcock, Fincher and Oedipus Rex. Old Boy was the fifth highest grossing film in Korea that year, and it was added at the very last minute to the competition lineup of 2004 Cannes Film Festival, where Quentin Tarantino happened to be serving as the chair of jury.
The second prize goes to...
It then made history as the first Korean film to win Cannes Grand Prix, the same award that All We Imagine as Light won this year. The film is the story of who is jailed for 15 long years and loses his wife because of an unknown assailant. After getting released, he seeks revenge but falls in love with a woman, Mido, not knowing it's his own daughter. When juxtaposed, this sounds awful similar to something Nithilan said in his interview.
இவனால என் ஃபேமிலி இழந்தேன் அப்படின்னு ஒருத்தன் நினச்சிக்கிட்டு அவனை பழிவாங்க அவன் வீட்டுக்கு போகிறான். அவன் இல்லை, அவன் பொண்ணு இருக்கு, அவன் பொண்ணு அசால்ட் பண்ணிட்டான், கொடுமை. அது அவன் பொண்ணு. இதுதான் கதை. இங்கிருந்து தான் ஸ்டார்ட் ஆச்சு. இதுதான் உங்களுடைய இதுதான் this is the seed.
Where Old Boy thrust us into the journey of vengeance, Maharaja flips the script, as the noir element of Korean flick is cleverly molded into police procedure. Because now if you try to describe Maharaja the same way as we did Old Boy, then it would be something like, when a man loses his family's precious dustbin in a burglary, he has to convince police officer to find it before his daughter return back from a summer camp.
Sir, Lakshmi sir.
In this journey from seed to screen, the Tamil director Nithin Swaminathan understood the similarities and the differences between his story and the story Old Boy was trying to say. They anchor their emotional core in the relationship between father and daughters. In Old Boy, protagonist Oh Dae-soo's journey began with his desperate longing to reconnect with his daughter, only to unknowingly step into a nightmare of manipulation and incest. Similarly, Maharaja's antagonist Selvam goes to jail and grapples with his failure to protect his wife and daughter, a guilt that drives every decision he makes thereafter. Both have men aiming to gift their daughters something meaningful, a gold ornament, a birthday present. This shared motive, this missed opportunity of fractured bonds doesn't just serve as a plot device. Yet where Old Boy uses this relationship to mirror the heroes and villains' twisted similarities, Maharaja employs it to underscore their stark differences. Selvam's final decision to die with the truth rather than live with it sets him apart from Oh Dae-soo, who opts for hypnotic denial. The striking similarity in narrative beats, characters enduring devastating losses, unknowingly meeting their daughters, and committing acts they deeply regret, exploring the ramification of pride and shame, using morally ambiguous characters to reflect on human nature. And yet Maharaja diverges from reframing its themes, actively dismantling Selvam's skewed ideology, as both villains try to use the love the heroes feel for someone against them. Like Selvam taking the decision to let Jyoti live, knowing that it will hurt a father more than her death. Woojin also deliberately tries to plan for 𝙁𝙚𝙖𝙩𝙪𝙨 to fall in love with Mido and bring forth his moral downfall rather than physical. Nithilen's choice of mirroring the psychotic justice of Woojin with the heroic justice of Maharaja is what sets him apart. Old Boy's use of hypnotism to blur the lines between memory and reality. In contrast, Maharaja employs a different non-linear structure, planting threads early on that culminates in a stunning third act revelation. This choice not only enhances the narrative's emotional impact but also reinforces its central theme of justice and randomness. This narrative dexterity is evident in the film's handling of key themes. The search for a restaurant that fed him for 15 years has a dark comedic tone to it. But so does a common man trying to bribe a cop to do his duty and solve his case. They don't simply present a cautionary tale about dangers of unchecked rage. They delve into the complexity of human emotion, acknowledging that even the most monstrous individuals are capable of experiencing love and grief. Selvam's actions, while undeniably horrific, are born from a place of deep-seated pain and a distorted sense of justice. Nithilen explains here something about repeating something in his script.
இப்போ சேதன்னா இப்போது ஃபஸ்ட்டு ஒரு கதை சொல்லுவார். ஸோ ஐடியானா அவன் ஒருத்த போய் ஒரு கிரேஸியாக ஒரு விஷயம் பேசுகிறான், அதை எவனுமே நம்பலை, ஆனால் அது உண்மை. இதுதான் ஐடியா. அப்போ ஃபஸ்ட்டு சொல்லும்போது ஃபுல்லாக ஃபஸ்ட்டு ஒரு கதை சொல்கிறான், ஆடியன்ஸ் சிரிக்கணும். அதே கதை மறுபடியும் சொல்கிறேன் சிரிக்கணும். அதே கதை மூணாவது சொல்கிறான் அழணும். இதுக்காடா நான் சிரிச்சிட்டேன் அப்படின்னு அவனுக்கு ஒரு கில்ட் கிரியேட் ஆகணும். கில்ட் கிரியேட் ஆகணுன்ற ஐடியா இல்லை, பட் புரியுது, எமோஷனாக கனெக்ட் ஆகணும். ஸோ இது ஐடியா. அப்போது 2 தடவை கஷ்டமாக அப்படியே இருப்பான். 3 சொல்லும்போது அவன் கதை சொல்லும்போது அவனே அழுவான். அப்போ ஏடா கதை சொல்லும் முதலே அழுவ வேண்டியதானே அப்படின்னு கொஸ்டின் கேட்கக்கூடாது. ஏன்னா ஸோ அது இப்போ ஏன்ப்பா முன்னாடியே சிரிக்கலை அப்படின்னா
அது ஒரு டைரக்டராக நீங்களும் மேனிபுலேட் பண்ணுறீங்க.
இல்லை அதான் சொல்ல சினிமா பற்றி சொல்கிறேன். அதான் சினிமா சொல்கிறேன். நான்
Repetition becomes a tool of reinforcement, ensuring that the audience subconsciously absorbs its significance. Also at midpoint, Maharaja tails suspect A from the bar, connecting back to the events planted before the main investigation even began. This fractal ploy subtly prepares us for the final revelation, reinforcing in our mind that something similar but larger could be at play here. Old Boy flips this ploy. While the protagonist does get a clue through his sheer brutality, it is also used as a mask to flip the genre later.
자, 복수를 하느냐, 이유를 알아내느냐.
Both use action to build and subvert our expectation, a truth with a strength no action can handle. When asked about how the symbols of hand came into play, director Park said,
수아, 그러니까 누나의 손을 놓는 행동이 이 모든 이미지들의 그 근본이죠. 누나를 살릴 수도 있었으나 이렇게 놓아버린 행동, 그것이 이 모든 비극의 시작이었기 때문에 손을 많이 썼어요.
Something similar was said by Nithilen in his interview also.
ஸ்கிரிப்ட்லே இல்லை. அந்த பிளட்டு போய் பாதத்தில் போடுறது அது ஸ்கிரிப்ட்லே இல்லை. அந்த டாலர்ஸ் இருக்குல்ல, அது கடைசி அனுராக் சாரோட ஃபஸ்ட்டு ஷூட் பண்ணது கிளைமேக்ஸ் தான். அது ஷூட் பண்ணிகிட்ருக்கேன். அப்புறம் அந்த 2 நாளைக்கு முன்னாடி வரைக்கும் அந்த நகை கொடுக்கணும் அப்படின்றது மட்டும் தான் ஐடியா இருந்தது, தவிர அது இந்த மாதிரி டிசைனில் இருக்கணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி இல்லை. ஸோ கடைசியில் ஓகே இது இருக்கலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி முடியாத பிறகு ஷூட் பண்ணிகிட்ருக்கோம். அந்த கிளைமேக்ஸ் அந்த பொண்ணு செயின் கொடுத்துட்டு போகிற அவர் எடுத்து இப்படி பார்ப்பார், கையெல்லாம் பிளட் இருக்கும். அப்போது இப்படி பார்ப்பேன், கைங்கெல்லாம் இப்படி இருக்கும். இப்படி பார்ப்பார், இந்த பிளட் ஏதோ தோணிச்சு எனக்கு இப்படி பார்க்குறேன். அப்போ அந்த பாதம் டிசைன், இந்த பாதம் டிசைனில் பிளட் பண்ணலாம்ப்பா அப்படின்னு கிளைமேக்ஸ் ஷூட்டை அந்த இடத்துல எனக்கு அந்த லாஸ்ட் ஷாட்டு தோணுச்சு. லாஸ்ட் ஷாட் தோணிட்டு இருக்கும்போது அந்த எடுத்துகிட்டு இருக்கேன். அப்போ தோணுது இது கிளைமேக்ஸ் மட்டும் வந்தால் பத்தாது, இது படம் ஃபுல்லாக அங்கங்கே இருந்துகிட்டே இருக்கும்னா அதுக்கப்புறம் உட்காந்து ரீரைட் பண்ணாரு.
Enforcing that inspiration can come from many places. You just have to be open to it. In Old Boy, the recurring motif of ants symbolizes isolation and loneliness, recurring in both father and daughter's dreams. Maharaja opts for dustbin and snakes, while dustbin, initially thought to be a symbol of something else, becomes a stark metaphor for his lost daughter, while the snake represents the tragedy Selvam incurred on his own daughter, just like reptiles do. The use of time as motif, the 2 days required to get the dustbin, is mirrored with the 2 days required to make the gift for Selvam's daughter. which gives weight to the final 2 days for the return of Jyoti from summer camp. There is a lot of writing here that not goes from point A to B, but you have to first reach B to understand how to plant the crumbs going back.
원작 만화를 접했을 때 그 엔딩에서 뭔가가 좀 부족하다. 영화적으로는 좀 부족하다. 만화로서는 괜찮지만 영화로서는 좀 부족하다는 아쉬움이 있었고 그리고 빌런이 왜 주인공을 그렇게 감금을 했는지에 그 동기에 대해서도 좀 아쉬움이 있었어요. 그래서 이 두 가지 문제를 동시에 해결할 수 있는 결말을 좀 찾아보려고 노력을 했습니다. 예, 그리고 또 하나는 좀 인간의 도덕 관념을 뛰어넘는 그런 완전히 낭만주의적인 영웅을 그건 정말 우리가 도덕적으로 칭찬할 수 있는 의미에서 영웅이 아니라 인간이 보통의 평범한 인간이 할 수 없는 일을 한다는 점에서의 영웅 그런 인간의 형을 한번 등장시키고 싶었습니다.
While both the structures rely heavily on third act revelation, Old Boy reserves its flashback for the final act, delivering its gut punch twist with a devastating clarity. Maharaja, however, weaves its flashbacks throughout, using them as a breadcrumb to enhance its climactic reveal. Nolan did something similar in Dunkirk, when he cut 3 different timelines. 1 happening across a few weeks, 2 happening across a few days, 3 happening just in a few hours, all culminating and joining towards the end. Nithilan does something similar here but without telling us. For instance, Selvan's confession while tending his daughter's wound encapsulates his entire arc. This moment is cleverly juxtaposed with Maharaja's daughter triumph at summer camp, illustrating their contrasting journeys, yet hiding a deep reveal. This could be called as a microcosm of film's central theme. In Old Boy, 𝙁𝙚𝙚𝙚 and Woojin are mirrors. One unknowingly spread malicious rumors about a woman yet seeks to protect another, mirroring Woojin's protective yet perverse obsession for his sister, for whom he seeks revenge, yet he let her go when he had his chance to save her. Just like with Selvam, Nithilan emphasizes this by contrasting his tender moments with his daughter against his brutal choices, highlighting his hypocrisy and the overall gaze of a rapist. Yet the films diverge in their exploration of guilt. Old Boy presents shame as a cyclic and inescapable thing. 𝙁𝙚𝙚's final act of cutting out his tongue is as much as about silencing his truth as it is about self-punishment, ending with him choosing hypnosis to erase the truth, still clinging to his delusions. How the hero will return to normal life after he's gotten his violent satisfaction is one of the oldest cliches of Hollywood's revenge plot. Old Boy's answer: there is no true return, only oblivion and unspeakable shame. Maharaja takes a more righteous path. His willingness to face the randomness of his past and Jyoti's bravery of facing the randomness of her present ultimately brings them at a semblance of peace, even if it's bittersweet. The willingness to face the truth versus the need to escape it will define their respective legacies, I think. This key divergence highlights their thematic difference. Old Boy is about the inescapable weight of sin, while Maharaja is about the virtue of karma and the randomness of the world. They are both cinematic twins separated at birth, a writing exercise, a Tarantino-esque love letter. They also show us that humans don't just share cultural similarities. Each of us reinvents shared themes to create something new, and in that reinvention lies the true magic of cinema.
So Rifle Club, for me, is like I trace back to this age-old story of, say, The Most Dangerous Game. It's a black and white silent film. But Most Dangerous Game comes before Agatha Christie wrote And Then There Were None, which was written much later. But Most Dangerous Game was before, so you don't know who was inspired by who.
Who came first, yeah.
Right? Most Dangerous Game led to its various inspirations. One is Hunger Games. Hunger Games is also an inspiration from Most Dangerous Game. There's a movie called The Hunt, is also inspiration from Most Dangerous Game. There's Punishment Park, which is also inspired from Most Dangerous Game in a way.
Yeah.
And then there's Bukarao, which is also inspired from there.
Correct. Yeah.
And Rifle Club is a totally twisted Western take Which also I trace back to same kind of an idea. And I was like, what a smart, clever way of taking a seed of something and making your own fruit out of it, making your own tree out of it. Because there's nothing except the seed.
If you like this video, comment and tell me why. And if you wanna watch more, please subscribe my channel. See you soon.